Hello dear friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. Today, on the date that I'm posting this, is the 23rd of November. I find that this is a very fitting date to post a tag video that I decided to participate in. It's a new tag that was created at Steamylitcon this year. It's a book convention that I believe was organized for the first time this year in California, where the organizers really wanted to celebrate and promote and uplift diverse and marginalized voices. And during that convention, I think the authors and organizers who had this kind of author talk, they decided to create this tag which is called 23 for 23, that basically stands for reading 23 novels or books, romance books that feature BIPOC characters, but that are also written by BIPOC authors. If you don't know, BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. So really marginalized voices is what we're trying to kind of give more voice to promote them more and to give them the recognition that they deserve. So when I saw that this initiative is announced, I actually found out about it, I believe, in September. I was looking through the books that I had already read, and I had already quite a few that I could include in this list, and I decided to participate in it. So on the 23rd of November of this year, I'm posting the 23 for 23 tag for you to see. I'm going to be talking about books by BIPOC authors that include BIPOC characters, and what I've decided to do with this video is to show you the title, the author, and a couple of the tropes within the book, because it's 23 books, so I don't want to make this video overly long. If you find that the cover appeals to you, or that the tropes appeal to you, or that my enthusiasm for these books make it appealing for you to pick up, please do so, because these books definitely deserve to be read more. And if you check out the 23 for 23 website that was created, you'll actually see the mission there for this tag. You'll see a couple of the statistics that really kind of show why it's so necessary for us to support more BIPOC authors. Just to give you an idea of how I view it as someone who is white. I'm from Europe, I'm a white person, and honestly, I'm not in the States, so for me, in the past, it has been very difficult to look up romances, like which books do I pick up. Usually I never focused on the author, I never focused on even the titles, I just focused on the synopsis and whether it sounded appealing to me. And that is something that as an advanced reader now, I see how limited that is. But the thing is also, if you're not within the community, it's so difficult to move past that. For me, it really kind of, the doors were opened for me when I discovered YouTube videos, so booktube videos, where people were discussing who is this author, what do they stand for, what kind of stories do they usually create, and that kind of opened up my mind to how limited my reading was, because I only got my recommendations previously from Goodreads. And obviously the algorithm of Goodreads works in a very basic way. If you read only white authors, it's going to recommend predominantly other white authors. So in this day and time, it's 2023, I believe there are so many talented writers who are people of color, who deserve their voices to be heard. I definitely want to read more and diversify my reading more, so I'm doing my best to include more and more of these voices within my reading throughout the year. And I've done maybe not well enough this year. I can definitely do better, but this is something that is going to be a goal of mine for 2024. So let's just go ahead and get started, because I've been talking for a long time now, and I do have 23 books to show you today. So yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and this is in no particular order. It's not like favorites to least favorites or the other way around. It's really all kinds of books that I picked up this year that you can take a look at and see whether you want to add them to your reading list. The first book I'm going to recommend is Only for the Week, and it's a destination wedding setting, and it's two people who strike this friends with benefits situation, but the guy has always had a thing for the woman, and he is relentless. He just wants to wear her down and convince her that they shouldn't be friends with benefits, but they should be more. This book is just everything. We have a worshipping hero, we've got a wedding setting, a destination wedding setting even, and it's just chef's kiss. The next book has such a gorgeous cover. Only for the cover you already kind of get wrapped into wanting to pick this book up. The book is called All I've Wanted, All I've Needed by A.E. Valdez. It's a little bit of a book about self-discovery for the heroine, and we've got a friend's brother love interest, and we've got a worshipping hero. The hero is also a tattoo artist, so it's all the goodness within a book. I really loved it and I highly recommend it. Now, the next one I just recently read, and it's such a steamy, spicy, amazingly good romance. The book is called Plie, and it's by A.H. Cunningham. It involves BDSM relationship. It involves a dancer who is a teacher, and it's one of her students' dads that is the love interest, and they have kind of a dual relationship going on because they have a sex club persona situation, but also a real life attraction together, and it's such a good romance. Next up, I picked up a book called I Married a Naga. This book is by Regine Abel. I love Regine Abel. I got to meet her at Rare in Florence. She's such an amazing human being, and she has such amazing romances that are just out of this world. Interesting. She writes predominantly alien and monster romances, and the one that I'm recommending to you involves an alien species that is kind of snake-like, so Naga. And within this alien romance, we've got an arranged marriage and also a hero that would do anything for the heroine to stay within their relationship. So it's so good. The next book I'm going to recommend is quite an interesting one because it actually has 3 life stories interwoven into one novel. The book is called Thick of Love by Danielle Marcus. So we've got 3 close friends and we're following their relationships throughout the book, and all of them have a bit of a turmoil within all of their relationships for different reasons, and we kind of see how they're coping with their difficulties within their relationship, and it's a very interesting read and I definitely would recommend it. Next up is a little novella by one of my all-time favorite authors, Kennedy Ryan. I read it this year and it's an Audible original. The audiobook is amazing for it. The book is called Coming Home, and it's a second chance novella that plays out in a university, but it's not new adult. It's very much an adult novel and I definitely recommend it. Next up is a book that will possibly end up in my favorites of this year. The book is called Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up by Cherish Reed. This book involves an interracial relationship, and it's a bit of a grumpy sunshine, workplace, romance. It also has great representation for chronic illness, so I definitely love this one. Then we've got a sapphic romance that I definitely wanted to include in this list. The book is called Guava Flavored Lies by J.J. Arias. This, besides it being a sapphic romance, is also a foodie romance, something that I've been into this year, and please check it out because it has a rivals, enemies to lovers dynamic that you might like. Next up, we've got another workplace romance by Adriana Herrera. The book is On the Hustle. It's a workplace grumpy sunshine situation where we've got, I think he was like a real estate mogul who is the hero, and he kind of antagonizes the heroine quite a bit. So we've got a push and pull situation going on, and it has a gorgeous cover as well. I read a couple of books by this author this year, but I chose this one specifically because nanny romances have been the thing this year. The book is called Go by Alexandria House. It's a nanny romance, and it also includes a sports situation. So the hero is practicing a sport. Was he a hockey player, I think? And he is in a guardianship situation that he needs help with, so he hires the heroine. So it's such an amazing romance. I definitely enjoyed it and I definitely would recommend it. Next up, we have a short and a sweet read by Alexandra Warren. The book is called If Only for the Summer. It's a single dad forced proximity situation where both the hero and heroine end up in the same apartment without them knowing each other. So they're strangers, but due to circumstances, they need to stay in this apartment together. And it's such an amazing it's insta love for one of the characters, but this is the kind of insta love that I actually could relate to, so I definitely like this one. Then we've got another sports romance, a basketball romance that involves an interracial relationship, and the book is by Evelyn Sola and it's called Takeoff. I definitely would recommend this one if you like sports romances. And then another romance that involves dancing is Take the Lead by Alexis Daria. I do have to say that the other books that I've read by Alexis Daria I've enjoyed a bit more, but this one was definitely worth it because of the Dancing with the Stars vibe that it gives off, and the gorgeous cover that you're going to see above just wants to reel you in to read it, so I definitely would recommend it if you like dancer romances. I also wanted to include a fantasy romance that I read this year by Kimberly Lemming. The book is called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. It's a cozy paranormal read that involves a monster. I don't know if it's called a monster or a demon, and forced proximity because they kind of go on a quest together. It's quite fun, quite cozy, and you have a found family situation going on there that is also very cute, that kind of has you piqued your interest for the other books that come within this series, so I definitely recommend this one as well. The next book I read because it includes the amnesia trope. I'm not the biggest fan of amnesia trope, but I do have to say that I always want to challenge myself to see when I'm going to find the exception to the rule for me. So I picked it up. The book is called Remember the Time by Tay Monet. We've got a situation of people who are very much in love, who very much are, they're going to get married, I think, but the heroine goes through something that causes her to have amnesia, and she's been taken away by her family, so the hero doesn't have any access to communicate with her. So they essentially split them up, and it's their quest to finding their way back together. It's quite a ride, so I definitely would recommend it if you like the amnesia trope, because it involves all the goodness of the amnesia trope that people typically love. It wasn't a favorite read of mine because I'm just not a fan of that trope, and it was done in exactly the same way that I've read other stories were done, but I definitely would recommend it if you like this kind of a trope. Next up, I read Such a Cute Romance by Mimi Grace. The book is called Make a Scene. It's a sports romance because the hero he's an owner of a gym, I think, like of a fitness, and then the heroine owns a cafe bakery, so it's a foodie romance as well. Give me all the goodness that involves a foodie romance and you have me absolutely happy. So I definitely would recommend this one as well. The next book that I'm going to recommend is one that is not necessarily focused too much on the romance. It's more women fiction-y, but I was definitely intrigued by the premise of it. The book is called Token by Beverly Kendall, and it involves a heroine who is setting up this company to help other companies have more diversity within their companies. So the premise of that book really was very interesting for me, and it involves an interracial relationship. Next up, I read Looks Good on Paper by Kelby Blades. This book, I have to say, is written in third person, so it took me a while to read it because I don't typically vibe very well with third person narration, but I did enjoy it because it's set for the most part in Italy, and it has the secret identity trope. It also involves traveling throughout Europe, but mostly Italy, and we've got an Italian hero, and it's just such a wonderful read when it comes to just exploring the Italian setting, and it's an interracial relationship as well. Just recently, I read a book called In for a Penny by Rena Gray. This is very much a bookish book because it involves an author and an aspiring to be author, and the two of them have forced proximity because they come together to have this kind of writing seminar experience, and it also involves very much dislike to love because the hero is very much not impressed by the heroine at the start of the book. But I definitely would recommend it if you're looking for a more wintry setting within the book. I've got another novella for you that I absolutely love. It's actually 3 novellas that go back to back about the same couple. The first one being Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend by Lucy Eden, and this one involves meet cute within a bookshop, and it also involves an interracial romance. Coincidentally, the next one is also a novella that I just recently read. The book is called Take a Chance by Miyako May. It also involves a destination wedding, and it's kind of a second chance romance. It's quite short, but it packs a punch, and I definitely loved it. The 23rd book, the last book that I'm going to recommend, is a Christmas book, very fitting because it's almost Christmas. The book is called Let It Snow by Michelle Stimson. It's a situation of two characters who are strangers, who both of them get stranded on an airport because of a hurricane, and both of them don't want to have to waste Christmas and want to bring kind of the Christmas spirit to the airport and everyone who is stranded, so they gather forces to try to make Christmas happen at this airport. It's very cute, it's very sweet, and I definitely would recommend this one as well. Hi there, this is Editing Me. I've just figured out that I cannot count for the life of me. This is like the 5th time that this has happened in I don't know how many months. I actually did have 23 books on my list, but I've recorded only 22. So I do want to update this video with the last book that I had in mind to put in there. And I actually swapped it yesterday because I just finished the new release by Natalie Kanya. This is an author that I discovered for the first time last year. I loved the first book that I read by this author, which is A Proposal They Can't Refuse. And just this month, the second book within that companion series released, which is called A Dish Best Served Hot. It's within the same world. You can definitely read it as a standalone though. It's a second chance romance. It's a single dad romance, and I would definitely recommend it. This wraps up the 23 for 23 tag on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I really hope that you found some amazing books that you can pick up on your own as well. And also, if you've read any of the books that I just mentioned and you love them as well, please leave a comment down below to let me know how much you love them, because we definitely want to share the love together. And I hope to be making another one of these next year, because it's definitely something that I like doing. And I just want to bring more awareness to reading diversely, to giving more voices an equal chance, an equal recognition, and equal love with all of the others. And yeah, I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye.